Right, good morning everyone. Today we're going to be looking at the product policy. Now, the product is the main component of the marketing mix because without a product, you don't have a business. So the marketing department must know everything there is to know about a specific product. And that leads us to a new term. This term is known as the USP, the Unique Selling Proposition. So what is it about that product that makes it so different to any other product that your consumers want it? Only when the marketing department knows what the unique selling proposition is, then can they decide on the packaging and the communication and how they're going to get the consumers to purchase this product. So I've chosen two companies to have a look at very quickly to see what their unique selling proposition is. And the first one is Domino's Pizzas. So everyone loves a pizza, but their unique selling proposition is they guarantee fresh, hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less. Otherwise, it's free. FedEx is another good one to look at when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. So you can see this USP is about the delivery of their product, and if they don't deliver, then they will give you something in return. See if you can think of any other ones. So now we know what USP stands for, we're going to look at product development and what it is. So if any business wants to grow and expand, then it needs to constantly design and develop new products. Product development begins with the generator identifying what it is the customer needs and wants. This can be done through customer surveys, suggestions, research, and the generation of new ideas by using techniques such as Scamper. The R&D, or the Research and Development Department, will develop one or more versions of the product concept of the idea. The new products will be subject to tests in the market. This is known as test marketing. The purpose of such testing is to learn how dealers and consumers respond to purchasing and using this actual product. So I'm going to show you a few ideas that have been in the market, and let's see what you think about them. So the first one is a pair of scissors with the pizza slice holder in it. I think that's awesome because it's rather difficult to always cut pizzas. This next one I quite like because some people will go too close to a tap, so this keeps it all quite hygienic. I must say I really am a coffee lover, so I quite like this idea where the biscuit sits underneath the cup, so there are no crumbs and it's easy to carry it and you don't need two hands. So think if you can think of something that you would adapt or change or redesign so that it could be a new product. So now we are moving on to what we call the product design. Right, and there are a number of steps that you need to know with product design. But creativity, innovation, and technology are definitely prerequisites for designing new products. If a car is manufactured and a design error is later found, the damage is irreversible and could result in huge financial losses. So the design of a new product is aimed at having high quality, error-free designs, and designs that do not use excessive resources, which would then result in a very expensive product. The 5 steps in product design are quite important to learn, and the first one is design and develop new ideas, and this begins with the identification of any unsatisfied need. Secondly, select and sift through all these product ideas to find the best solution. Thirdly, design and test this product concept, which happens before a product is actually even developed. Fourth, analyze the profitability of the product concept to determine where the money should be invested in this product. Fifth, design and test the actual product using a very small sample of the product. So in other words, your last step is test marketing. So we've looked at designing of a product. Now we need to be able to classify our products. And there are 2 types of goods. We have what we call consumer goods as well as industrial goods. Now under consumer goods, there are 3 types. The first one is convenience goods. So these are things that you will buy often, right? And they are low priced and you don't give much thought as to what you buy. So if I need a loaf of bread and there isn't Albany bread, I don't mind. I'll just pick up another loaf of bread. Or if I need to go and buy yogurt, I rush in, I get what I need, and I get out. So these are purchases that we make often. The second type of good is what we call a shopping goods. Now, these are more expensive than the convenience goods, and a lot of time and thought is put into consideration of the price, the quality, the brand name. So a lot of time is spent thinking about this purchase, right? So we do look at things like examples, a car, a TV, clothing, or even furniture. And the last type of consumer good is what we call a specialty good. Now, specialty goods really are those expensive items, normally like once in a lifetime purchases. So a lot of time is spent on them, and we normally want a specific brand when we are looking at specialty goods. So the three that we have is convenience, shopping, and specialty. You will need to be able to define these, describe them, as well as identify some. So the next three slides really have pictures of these different types of consumer goods. So we can see the convenience goods, toothpaste, washing powder, soap, a milkshake, sometimes cream, sunblock, fruit and vegetables. Those are all convenience goods. We shop for these things often. Right, in the next slide, we've got a TV, couch and a car. So remember, more time is given to the purchasing of these items, and we don't make them as often as a convenience good. We shop around for the best deal. And lastly, the luxury or specialty goods. So can you believe it that that ring on the left hand side, when I found it on the internet, is 2 million rand. Okay, it's full of Swarovski crystals. And then obviously a wedding suit. You obviously only want to buy one of those in your lifetime and wear it on your special wedding day. I did mention something called industrial goods. So these goods are equipment or things that are needed when you're manufacturing other goods. So examples are raw materials, spare parts, machines, equipment. Those are all examples of industrial goods. So we're still under the product policy, right? And we've looked at the different categories of products that one exists. We looked at the different steps in designing products. Now we're going to be looking at the packaging of products. So years ago, consumers bought from retailers, for example, 5 kilograms of flour, which would then be weighed and sold in a brown paper bag. The consumer had no idea where the flour came from, the trade name, or in fact whether it was indeed actually 5 kilograms. So today we see that the retailer buys pre-packed products, and the manufacturer's name and weight and nutritional information, all of that is now on the packaging. Since packaging can influence a customer to buy or not buy the product, the marketing department will keep the following in mind. It is important for the business and the consumer that the product is protected from theft and tampering while it is in the store. That's often why you'll see little stickers on the side, or in a lid it will say, if it has popped, this product has been tampered with. Packaging can have a big influence on the final buying decision. The packaging of a product has 4 purposes, and the first one is to protect the item. So you don't want it to get damaged or dirty or broken. So these are just 2 examples of pictures that I found. The second purpose is that you want to be able to reuse the packaging for something else. If we look at the next purpose, I wonder if you can figure out what this is. It's about giving information. It's about informing. So in this example, we can see the nutritional facts, we can see how much it weighs, we can see where it was made. So all that information is in the package. And the last purpose is what we call market segmentation. So in other words, the packaging will either be tailor-made more towards women or be more masculine so that men will want to buy that product. Some requirements of good packaging. It must be eye-catching. Okay? It must get your attention while you're looking at a variety of products. Secondly, it must suit the product. Okay, so if you look at the Rice Krispies, it's easy to handle, kids can't break it, it's fun, it's got little characters on it, whereas on the left hand side we have very expensive perfume, and so the material that's used is far more luxurious. The next one, it must be appropriate for the target market. So when it comes to baby products, it's good to have them in plastic bottles so that they don't break and possibly harm the child. It must be suitable for packing, easy to handle, all right? Think of trying to put that particular product on a shelf. How is it going to fit? How are you going to box it? How are you going to transport it? And lastly, it must be strong so that it cannot break. So we're still on the topic of packaging, and we need to be able to identify different forms or different types of packaging. So we have speciality, reusable packaging, combination packaging, kaleidoscopic, and multiple. So if I look at speciality packaging, what is that? The product is given an image of I must have this, for example, in perfumes. Reusable packaging, the container can be used for something else once the content is finished. So for example, think of ice cream containers or margarine tubs. Kaleidoscopic, I really like this one. If you think of a kaleidoscope, when you were a little child, you would play with that thing that you looked through and the patterns would change. That's a kaleidoscope, right? So a kaleidoscopic packaging is where the container or the wrapper is constantly changing to suit certain things that are going on in the world. So for example, if you think of Christmas time, all the Cadbury's chocolates will now have pictures of Santa Claus all over them. At Easter time, we'll start seeing bunnies on everything, right? Then we have multiple packaging, right? This is where various products are packaged in one container. So you could have 3 or 4 different chocolates together, or a tie and a shirt together, or a toothbrush and a toothpaste, okay? It's often sometimes referred to as combination packaging too. So if we had to identify the packaging used here, it would be speciality because it's for a luxury item. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide and let's see if we can see what this one is. Right, there you go, reusable. How many of you have ever reused a Ferrero Rocher container? Quite a nice thing to use when you need a plastic container during exam times to put all your pens in. Right, the kaleidoscopic. Often during the Olympics, you'll see McDonald's or Coca-Cola will start changing their packaging because of the Olympics that's going to happen, or whether it's a World Cup for rugby or soccer. Right, and lastly, the multiple or the combination packaging, 2 or more things in one packaging. And that, gentlemen and ladies, is the end of the product policy. Well done. Have a good day.